Hi, good morning. Welcome to my channel. This is Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And for those of you that are returning, welcome back. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm grateful that you're here. To my Patreon subscribers, thank you so very much for your monthly subscriptions. They are huge in helping me to continue to create this content. So I just want to say thank you to all of you that support me over at Patreon. If anybody's interested in a monthly subscription, you can certainly go over to the Patreon page. It's spelled Patreon. And look at Engelgeist. The daily forecast, which is what I'm doing here, are posted there a day early, or at least the day prior to when they actually come out. That's an exclusive that you get over there. Plus, at different levels, you get other exclusive sort of readings and things that aren't available on YouTube. For those of you that don't have the finances or don't feel as though you want to support at a subscription level, that's completely fine. Please just watch the videos, like them, hit the thumbs up, share them with your friends, post them on your Facebook or your Twitter, wherever you feel the need, wherever you feel like it may help people. That's a huge support to me. It helps me to get the word out. It also exposes me to new people that might enjoy my work. So that's a huge help, and it's a huge way to support the channel too. So you can do that. That's just as valuable as subscribing, in my opinion, although both help in great ways. If you do subscribe to the channel, please hit the notification bell so that you're notified when I do another video. I sometimes do live videos. I do my Tarotscopes live every month by the Elements. So that will be starting soon too. And you'll be able to interact with me live when those things happen. So that would be a point in hitting that subscription bell. What else? If you want to direct message me in regards to a private reading, which is another way you can support me, because this is ultimately a business I'm creating, you can either direct message me at Instagram, or you can direct message my business page at Facebook. Please also cross-like my business page at Facebook, hit a follow over there, and follow me on Instagram at Engelgeist333. You can, like I said, message me there. So this is the daily forecast. I do this every morning. Sometimes I pre-tape them. Right now, because of the Patreon page, I do pre-tape them a day earlier so that I can release them to my Patreon subscribers a little bit early so that they can watch them either the night before or early in the morning before going to work, that sort of a thing. They don't have to wait until the 8 o'clock hour. So this is basically sort of like, I would equate it to like a weather report. Like you would check the weather report before you would get in your car and drive to work. This is the intention of that. It's like the greatest sort of like an energy forecast of what might we be dealing with today. What might we want to look at, focus on for our own highest good? What do we need to be aware of? Is there anything out there that might sneak up on us or surprise us that we want to be prepared for? And this reading is for a group collective, right? So it's for a large group of people that may watch this video. The intention as I shuffle the cards and connect is that it's not only for those that watch live, but for those that tune in at any point in time in the future, right? So if this video shows up in your feed, a month from now, don't worry, it may still have a valid message for you. Spirit has a funny way of making those things kind of work out, and those of you that watch these tarot forecasts and stuff probably already have knowledge and experience with that. So if this is coming to you at a different time than what it's dated on the front, that's okay. Watch it anyways and see what's being said. Maybe it makes sense to you now. Maybe you're in vibrational alignment with the message in this moment. So this is the message for February 19th, the midweek. We are definitely at the midweek point for this week, the 16th through the 22nd of 2020. Now, on Sunday, I always do a weekly forecast. It's not only the energy of Sunday, but it also gives me the underpinning energy of the week. We did have that major arcana card in the midst of our midweek, which was the Artist. It's not a normally traditional major arcana card, but it is a card that in this deck that I'm using, the major arcana. It's part of their major arcana. To me, that deck is all about creation. It's all about sort of taking notes, studying and figuring out how it is we want to create what it is we want in our life, where we want to fit into our life, and actually taking an active role in the creation of that through, being an artist, so to speak, right? So we've been seeing cards that definitely dictate uh, ways and means of doing that, honing that skill, and making that skill all the more powerful. So keeping in mind as we look at today's forecast, that artist energy is in the background, working with us, for us, and sometimes if we're in a really negative space, it can be working against us, guys. I'm just going to be honest. So keep that in mind. You get the opportunity to create where you put your intention and your attention. And from that, your experience sort of unfolds. So it's not outside of you, it's all sort of within you. And I say this all the time too. We get the opportunity to choose how we react to these situations. That is completely within our control. So keep that in mind as we move forward. So let's look at today's card for the 19th for the collective and see what's going on. Interesting. So we have the Four of Swords. Fours always represent stability to me because I think of four legs on a table. They're also, like, I believe traditionally with tarot, they are supposed to represent stability. Fives are generally change. They bring about change. Fours are like the stability before that change comes on. The Four of Swords, yesterday we had the Ace of Swords, right? And the Ace of Swords, to me, I'm just sort of tying this all in so that we can get a better picture of what's going on, maybe for some of us. And to each of you, I have to say this. This is a broad spectrum reading, so you're going to have to apply it to the specific areas in your life where you feel like what I'm saying fits. And I trust that you'll know how to do that and that the message will still carry. But with this Four of Swords, this is about intellectual stability. This is about creating that space for us. This is about drawing boundaries. This is about sort of maybe pulling back. Understanding, and the reason why I say that is if we look at this knight here, he's sort of in the darkness. Not the darkness, but he's like sort of faded in shadow, right? He's sort of, he's centered. He is the center of his sort of experience. He's focused on himself, but I feel like he's withdrawing, right? He's withdrawing and he's kind of trying to find his stability. And from that, I think that it's a stability in a mental space, right? Yesterday, we had that Ace of Swords, which is sort of that inspired thinking. Maybe some clear thought came to us. Maybe something came out of the blue that sort of surprised us or sort of cleared away some clouds. Well, now with this Four of Swords in our presence, it says to me, now that those clouds have cleared, now that those thoughts have come about, what do we do with them? How do we stabilize them? How do we utilize them in a way that makes us sort of, that shores us up, that protects us? Not that we're in any danger. I'm not trying to suggest that. What I mean is how do we take our thoughts or the inspiration of that Ace of Cups and utilize it to add to our stability, to add to our strength. The Four is a very strong card, a very stable card. But I also feel like when I'm looking at this card, the art and the design of this card makes me feel like we might be taking a pause, a step back. The Ace of Swords was much more in your face yesterday, much more proactive, maybe decisive, moving forward. This is about like a pause, a sort of reassessment and seeing what works intellectually and mentally, and then like sort of building upon that. I like this card in the midweek, especially with that artist card as our, hold on, the dogs are going to start wrestling one second. You guys don't do that now. This office is too small, there's too many of you, and I'm on TV. Well, not TV, but YouTube, but it's the same thing. You guys wouldn't know the difference. Stop. Just relax. This is like 10 minutes and then you guys can act a fool. So, this card, to me, speaks to that idea of kind of, building upon our own strength. There's also, like I said, with this withdrawn nature of this card, I feel like some of us might be, I don't want to say licking our wounds, but we might be pulled back, trying to create our own sense of safety. And the reason why I say that too is I'm also really drawn towards the armor of this knight. Like, I feel like we are trying to protect ourselves. We keep that sword. We're not in a fighting stance, There may not be sort of anger, there might be some hurt here, right, for some of you. But the way that he's holding this hilt is similar to how we saw the hilt being, or how the sword was being held yesterday, right? Where it was being held by the blade. Where I was saying that in the Ace of Swords, we're aware of sort of the power of our thoughts and the strength of them in how they create a reality. And wielding that not as a weapon by holding it by the hilt, but wielding it from a much more delicate place of the blade, right? Almost putting ourselves not at risk, but being aware of how our own thoughts can like sort of harm ourselves, right? To me, this card here feels like he's drawn that sword back down to him. He's brought it closer to him, closer to his heart. I feel like there's a balancing of the mind and the heart that's happening here. I'm sorry guys, excuse me. I feel like this card will create stability for us, but we may have to sort of protect our heart and our thoughts today by withdrawing them, by maybe not sharing them, by maybe not being so open with them. Let's see what the Worker Light deck has to say. It says, trust the niggle. I use that word a lot. It's when I put that in here. It says, what is the ringing... I can't even read. The tears in my eyes. Oh my god, hold on. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? I don't know if you guys can see that if that's zoomed in. It's interesting to me that we have these three women in this card, and I feel like we have this knight pulled back in this purple. And then we have these two women in the background in the gray. Yet this woman is in the front, sort of in a faded purple, also similar to the knight. Do you guys see that? Or am I just crazy? These cards are freaking me out. This card here says, trust the niggle. I can't believe it says that. Hold on 1 second. Need to ground. And I meditated before this shit this morning. Okay, I try and be a ray of hope for you guys, and I try and be a ray of hope in trying to be a ray of hope for you guys and bringing a message that hopefully brings clarity and help to the highest good of everyone. I have to remember that I'm only human, and that sometimes I need a message just as much as anybody else, I guess. And so I'm sorry that I'm being emotional right now during this forecast, because I know that you guys need to get this message. So just trust the niggle. To me, not only am I seeing parallels between this knight and this woman here, the purple color, the lavender color, the sort of fadedness. I feel like she's also withdrawing. I feel like there's these dark clouds and these two women behind her. And to be honest, and I feel like these are fears in her head that might be talking to her in either side of her ear. And it's up to her or us to trust that feeling within us and to continue to move forward, to stabilize our thoughts, to make sure that we feel safe and secure and stable, know that we're strong, know that we're protected, know that, you know, the armor that we have on will protect us, know that we have this skill set to move forward, but to be very cautious with our thoughts today. And I'm not saying to like distrust ourselves, but I feel like if there's a niggle or an inkling of something that's driving you, if things feel darker than normal, these storm clouds, right? This too shall pass is what I'm hearing. I feel like we just need to trust ourselves, trust that, you know, there is light, even if the voices in our head are telling us maybe there's not. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? I would ask yourself that question. I would ask myself that question today too. Listen to it. Again, we had that beautiful King of Cups, which is all about keeping the emotions positive and light. I think that's still at play here, but I also think that that artist card is coming into play, right? Where we need to be mindful of the niggling feelings and our fears and our self-doubts and our worries. And we need to be mindful of, are we pulling back because we're in fear? Or are we pulling back because we are, you know, listening to the voices in our head that say, no, this can't work, this isn't going to work? Are we doing it out of maybe an unneeded sense of safety or security? Are we staying in a situation that we know that doesn't work for us because it feels safer than the unknown? It feels safer than having to muster up the energy to change it. And that's this niggling feeling that we need to trust. It's there and we know that it's there. So the grounding stone for today is on obsidian, which is definitely a very grounding stone. Let's say that. You know, obsidian also deals with like sort of negative energy and fears to me. So this might be us facing our fears today, facing the energy that we have around our fears, facing the, you know, those little thoughts or these dark clouds, these women behind her feel like they are working on her hard. And we need to be strong. And we need to ground in what is our energy and not maybe our fears, not maybe the things of our past, not maybe the worries of our past experiences and allowing those to dictate our now. Okay? This message may be for only some of you. Hell, this message may only be for me. I don't know. But if you have any questions, please leave me questions in the comments and I will try and better answer them for you as to what I feel like is going on here. But I do feel like there is a sort of a storm a-brewing. And I think that this storm and how we handle it, and it could very well be mental and within our own making, within the fears of our mind, our subconscious, our darker, more, you know, moon side, whatever it is we want to call it. As it comes forward, we're going to need to like be stable, ground in what is our energy, know what is our truth, face our fears, and start to act and make changes from those places. You know, I think about yesterday's priestess card and it was like, what are you being called to do? Right? And we need to also keep that in mind today as we move through this, because I think that calling maybe has spooked us in some way, maybe today. It has set us back a little bit, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just like there's a reassessment happening here, a restabilization that's happening here. And we want this to happen, really. We want to be grateful for this, because if we're facing these things and we're dealing with them and we're looking at them and we have gratitude for them, we can then thus change them, and then we can get about to creating that artist energy, utilizing that artist energy to create the things that we want. But sometimes we have to realize what it is we don't want to create by facing those things, right? And then we can move forward in towards what it is we do want. Keep your heads held high today, you guys. I hope that this forecast makes sense. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. I do think that even though this might be a bit of an emotional forecast for me, however it plays out for you guys, I think that it is for the benefit of everyone. We need to remember that. And we need to remember that sometimes we have to go through darkness to sort of experience the light. And I think that that's what this is about. All right? So I love you all. Have a great day. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.